Hey, Kevin here with Skylabs, doing another video. This is a fun one. We've got some lifts that help protect your stylus just in case you happen to fall asleep or forget you're listening to a record. And we're gonna get into that shootout, but first, if you wanna support the channel, grab some cool Skylabs gear, head over to skylabsaudio.com. Great t-shirts, acrylic platter mats, Grado products, coffee mugs, you name it, all kinds of cool stuff there. Great way to support the channel, and we really appreciate it. So today we're going to be taking a look at 4 different styles of lifts and 4 different price points from different manufacturers. And each one of them has definitely benefits and a few negatives. Let's hope you get the right one for the right budget for your turntable. And you might be saying, what is a Tonearm lift and why would I need one? Well, if you have an automatic turntable or an auto return turntable, you don't. If you have a broken auto return turntable or you have a manual turntable, then you need to watch this video. I prefer turntables that are in their most simplistic form. A perfect turntable to me has a turning platter at 33 or 45 RPM and a tone arm and 4 wires coming out of that tone arm going into my receiver. I don't want any extra gears or any extra circuitry to do any kind of creature comforts, as in placing the tone arm for me or returning the tone arm for me. I'm happy to do that on my own, or I'm happy to use one of these tone arm lifts to make sure that if I do fall asleep or if I forget that I have a record going, that it's going to lift the stylus off my record and protect my expensive stylus from extra wear and tear. That's what these lifts do. And if you have a manual turntable, this would definitely be something I would recommend for you if that is an issue. And the first one up on our list is the Q-Up. So the pros with the Q-Up would definitely be the price. There's no question, this is definitely the least expensive one of all the entries that we have. You can usually grab them for the price of a couple records, 45, 50 bucks, somewhere in there. These are really easy to install. You can usually get them placed within 10 or 15 minutes, even faster if you've done the process before. And then consistent performance. These, they work. I had one of these on my turntable for 5 years probably, used it daily. It won't let you down. It just works. It's a real simple design and it works. So there are a few cons with the Q-Up system, and there's only a few. One would be the looks. They're not the most attractive thing in the world. If you got a really nice looking turntable, it's not going to add any bling to it. Let's just say that. The second thing we found is the sensitivity adjustments are a little difficult to find and use. There's not a lot of documentation from the manufacturer on how to set these up, although there are several videos online. You know, you just kind of got to play with this one a little bit. And another negative would probably be they kind of have a cheap feel. It's kind of a, you know, it feels like a cheaper product. But keep in mind, these are a third of the price of some of the better units on the list here. And the last negative would be that you do have to rearm the Q-Up with every play. Not a major deal. Once you start using it for a while, it becomes a second nature type of thing. And I never had an issue with it. I had one of these on my turntables for 5 or 6 years, and it was always reliable. So, and in conclusion on the Q-Up, it is really for somebody that's on a budget that has a turntable that will accommodate this type of lift. It is a perfect solution for you. Okay, and the next one on our list is the Audio-Technica AT6006R. This would be, in my opinion, this is a more elegant version of the Q-Up that we just covered. It uses the same mechanics. It's really doing the same thing. It's just doing it in a more graceful and pretty fashion. Let's just say that. It's nice and stainless steel. It feels good. It feels sturdy. You set it up the same way, and it does have the same limitations as far as placement as the Q-Up does. However, when the mechanism does trip, it is a nice soft ascend. It lifts the tone arm in kind of a graceful fashion, where the Q-Up might seem a little clunky, but this is 3 times the cost. I think we were finding an average of around 130 bucks when we looked online at the price of these. So the pros to the Audio-Technica AT6006R, without a question, would be the appearance, the looks. They look great, nice stainless steel finish. They've got a heavy weight to them. The build quality, you can tell, well machined. They're a really good performer. They won't let you down, and that's what you're looking for with a lift. I want something that's going to work every time, and I don't have to worry about it. Once you set these up, they're really, really reliable, just like the Q-Up. And the cons with the Audio-Technica 6006, as with most of these, the Audio-Technica can be a little bit tricky to set up, just like the Q-Up can. Price might be a little bit steep for some people. You know, I get it. You know, you've got a $250, $300 turntable, and you probably don't want to put a $130 Tonearm lift on it. I get that. However, if you have a nicer turntable and something that you really appreciate the looks on, something like this might be warranted. It might even add a little bit of audio jewelry to your turntable. So you just kind of have to make that decision depending on what you have. And the compatibility. Once again, you know, some turntables this lift isn't going to work on. You know, if your Tonearm or the area around the Tonearm doesn't allow one, then this just isn't going to be a solution for you. But we do have a solution coming up, so don't leave just yet. And in conclusion, this is really a solid performer. It took about 20 minutes to install, so it is a little bit of a setup, but it works really consistently once you do get it set up. I had one of these on a turntable for a couple years. Worked like a champ. If you're looking for an elegant solution and you have room on your turntable, then look no further. This might be the one for you. At 130 bucks, it's a great performer, it looks good, and it won't let you down. So that's the Audio-Technica 6006R. And the next one on the list is the Duok Audio Tonearm Lift. And I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm not sure. It's D-O-U-K. This is one of the cheapest options. And being the cheapest option, the results were not good, I've got to say. The pros, they're inexpensive. I think they're around 40 bucks. They are cloning the Audio-Technica, the last one we talked about. The cons would be it's really tricky to install. They're really cheaply built. No installation or adjustment instructions including, and nothing online about it. And we could not get this thing to work consistently at all. I mean, if it worked 50% of the time, you were lucky. And for that reason, there's absolutely no reason to get one of these. We had two. I thought maybe I would start selling these in the store. So I bought a couple of them as kind of a cheap alternative to the Audio-Technica 6006R. And I spent several hours, because I had sold one to a customer. I spent several hours trying to install that and get it to work reliably, and I could not. So I was not able to sell one of these, so I have two of them. Neither of them work consistently. So I would not recommend the Duok version. Maybe they'll improve it at some point. Being a clone and the fact that it's really the same mechanics as the Audio-Technica, you would think it would work just as well. Hence why I bought one to try, but it does not. So, and in conclusion, if it wasn't apparent, avoid these. Just stay away. Maybe version 2 will be better, but right now this version that they have out, if we have two of them, and as somebody that's installed several lifts by several manufacturers on several turntables, I feel like I know how to install a Tonearm lift. And I spent a lot of time trying to get this Tonearm lift to work any better than a 50% ratio. And if it can't work more than 90% of the time, I don't want it. And so, yep, avoid this one. And the last one on the list, and I really want to thank Gabby from Mind Pop Revolution. He sent us a press lift so we could have one on this list to try. And the pros with the Mind Pop Revolution press lift, this solution is not restricted like the other lifts are, in that it doesn't matter if you don't have any real estate between the Tonearm and the platter. We couldn't think of a manual turntable that this solution won't work on. And maybe there's some really rare, maybe like vertical turntable or something out there somebody's going to mention. But I mean, for the most part, 99% of the manual turntables out there in the world, this would be a great solution. Reliable, really well built, really elegant looking. You can tell the craftsmanship on these is top notch, no question. The design, the form, everything about them, really, really, really like this product a lot. Also, it doubles as a record weight. In my opinion, this is a solution that is also audio jewelry at the same time. Like everything else, there's always a couple cons. They're a little bit finicky to set up, but you know, give yourself 20 minutes, take your time, you'll be fine. If you can set up a turntable, you can handle installing this lift, no problem. The other thing would be they're a little bit on the spendy side. They're just above 200 bucks, but as far as the extra quality you're getting, in my opinion, it's worth every penny of it. You're really getting quite a bit more of a product at this price point than you do with the other solutions. These are really, really well made, you can tell. And in conclusion with the Presslift, I think it's kind of in its own little category, as in, you know, it's a really, really nice solution to the problem in that it works with almost any turntable out there. It looks really, really nice. You can tell these are really well made. And I see the failure rate being really low. You know, once we got it installed on our SL1200, it just worked. And that's what you want with something that is going to give you peace of mind, is you want it to be reliable. So after putting all these solutions through their paces, I really can't recommend one over the other. I think it just comes down to your budget, what kind of turntable you have. There's 3 really good solutions here. If you're looking for a budget solution, go with the Q-Up. You know, that middle of the road is the Audio Technica, and then if you want the Cadillac and a solution that will work on almost any turntable out there, that Presslift is killer. And put in the comments down below which one you like the best. Really love to get your feedback on it. If you own one of these, give us your feedback on that. How was it to set up? What's the usability like? Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.